Welcome to round number 2 recap of my international chess tournament, which I played in a very beautiful city of Shumen in Bulgaria. In the second round, I was playing against Dimov Nikola. After the first round win, I got a slightly stronger opponent. And go check out the round number 1 recap. Let's start with this one. So, again, there were short breaks between the rounds, but you didn't really have time to prepare. You could see what your opponent plays, but again, I didn't bring a laptop, I didn't have my prep files, so it was just, I could check something between the games, but again, this wasn't some very big prep. So c5, knight f3, d6, d4 takes knight d4, knight f6, and we're going to Najdorf, my main weapon with black pieces. So he goes bishop e3. Again, bishop g5 is the most aggressive option, which is being played a lot these days. Bishop e3 is so-called English attack, still quite popular these days. Many of you might have seen a very famous draw, knight f6, bishop e3, knight g4 or something. Bishop g5 is what people play here, h6, g5, but many people just make a draw here. But of course, we're not here for a draw, we're going for a win. e5, attacking the knight on d4, knight b3, bishop e6, bishop e2. So main setup here with white would be f3, and let's say h5, and then you go queen d2 and try to castle long. But my opponent chooses, let's say, a safe option, not a safe option, but very quiet line in comparison with this f3 and g4 h4 setups. I go bishop e7, and there is a little so-called trap. So let's say I'm not sure how it starts. So the thing is, I think maybe you can play queen d3, and after castle there is some g4. Maybe not here, but in some lines, you kind of let black castle, you try to make them castle, maybe even a4, and then let's say after castle there is g4. And this is what might be played, but again d5, and I don't see a lot of problems for black pieces. Maybe I'm just mixing up the lines, which could be the case easily. He goes castle, I go castle. And now he plays f4. I go queen c7. My idea is that after f5 I can go bishop c4 and trade light squared bishops off the board. f5 was actually the best move, and the main line here is something that I have previously played. I'm not sure why I haven't gone for it. Is e takes f4. Let's say bishop f4, knight c6, and the idea is to put your knight on e5. Again, I don't want to dive deep into this position because this is something we'll get later in the game. Because after queen c7, queen e1, b5, I'm trying to basically get b4 on the board, maybe try to attack c2 square, e4 pawn, a3, e takes f4, bishop f4, and now I go knight c6. Again, same idea, knight e5, king h1, but the problem is after queen c7, which I played, I allowed this f5 to happen, and f5 is actually a bit annoying because white take a lot of space, the threat in g5, knight d5. You know, not the most comfortable position to play, because now the only move is d5, and it's kind of hard because I already have to kind of give up this pawn, play something like rook c8, not rook c8, rook d8. To attack this pawn on d5, a lot of things. Black are okay, but yeah, there are just better options like g4, d5, bishop c4, and after d takes c4, g5. Yeah, crazy lines, usual Najdorf. But queen e1 was played instead. Again, quite common idea as well. And after b5, a3 takes knight c6, he goes king h1. He wants to avoid any checks on this long diagonal. Knight e5, queen g3, knight goes to g6, attacking the bishop on f4. I really want to take it, and potentially I even want to trade queens off the board and try to use two bishops advantage. Bishop g5, rook c8, knight d4, queen b7, knight f5. And at this point I realized I have serious problems. The best move here is knight e8, which you know, you would never consider during the game, and it was definitely hard to consider. And I started thinking, like, what should I do here? Because there is just not much. And I played rook c5. Computer thinks it's a mistake, but I think it's a very, very interesting option. He goes knight e7, queen e7. He had the option of going for bishop f6, and then let's say it takes, and then maybe go h4, h5, but here I just go king h8, and potentially rook h8, and you never know who attacks here, because I want to launch an attack on g5. Computer thinks it's equality. h4. He wants to go h5, but there is something that he cannot do, because after king h8, h5 is not playable. It looks like, yes, he attacks a knight, and if I go knight e5, h6, I'm completely lost. The thing is, after h5, I don't have to get this knight anywhere, because I have knight h5. And the problem is, rook on c5 is here for a reason. Knight, so I got rid of the knight, he went knight 7, and now this rook attacks the bishop. And now queen attacks as well. So if bishop h5, rook g5, I'm completely winning. And if bishop is7, I can put check first, and then if king h2, I can play knight f1 check. So king g1. So now knight f1 is not really an option, but I can play knight e7, and I'm just simply up a piece. Or I can play knight e2 and then take on e7 just to simplify a little bit. And this would be a winning endgame. So bishop e3 was played instead. He's still trying to push this h5. I go rook e5. My idea is to attack the pawn on e4, and at this point I realize I don't really have any problems. It looks like I'm about to equalize, if not even take a huge advantage. Knight e4, and now he goes queen e1. The idea here is after knight e4, rook e4, I attack this one, I attack this one. The position is slowly falling apart. He goes queen e1. His idea now, if I get this rook out of the way, I don't even have any squares. Rook f5, there is knight e4 and he's up a piece, but I have knight c3 first. And now I get two pieces for the rook. The problem here is my knight, bishop, you see this little pin, you gotta do something about it. I go bishop g4, the best move according to the computer. I just want to protect this knight on the 2, maybe get h5, f5, and just start taking pawns. King goes to g2, queen h4, queen d6, not letting me go to g3. Rook d8. I still gotta be extremely careful. My king is on the last rank. I didn't create any space yet. I go rook d8, queen c7, rook c8, queen d6, and now I go f6 just to avoid any tactics, any rook f7 captures, any sort of counterplay here. I still gotta prepare for some, you know, runaway. C3, h5, rook e1, and now I start pushing. I go knight f5, queen a6, and now beautiful, absolute beautiful tactic, knight f3. Now I'm attacking this bishop on h2, and now I'm attacking this rook on a1. So it's double threat, but it's not the only threat, because g takes f3 cannot be taken due to bishop f3 checkmate. This bishop checks here, knight covers g1. So he goes queen d6, and now I simply take on a1, g3, and bishop f3 checkmate. So great start, 2 out of 2. In the third round, I faced a very strong kid, and that's probably the luckiest game you will ever see, the biggest swindle of my life, if I can call it like that. So stay tuned, come check out the recap tomorrow. See you, bye bye.